We are back doing some adjacency and talking about new 40k. So that's exciting. But before we do that, Pete, how you been? What's been going on?
I've been excellent. I no longer have the voice I used to have. I finally hit puberty. I talked a little bit to Reese Richard Robbins about how to talk the way he does. Began smoking 16 to 17 cigarettes an hour. Here we are.
Perfect.
It's just cancer, folks.
I think
straight up cancer.
I'm pretty sure Reese started smoking late in life. Like this is true. And as a former smoker, part of me wonders if it's just because people always were like, "Oh, you smoke so much," and he's like, "Man, I don't smoke, okay?"
And then he just went for it.
And then finally, like he was just like peer pressured into smoking in his 30s, and like that's not great. That's a kind of a tragic thing.
Oh, so he was peer pressured by the community.
It's not Shakespearean. It's okay. Like he can
hack these.
It'll be fine.
He could not smoke. I think.
Hey, you not smoke, Robert.
I don't smoke, but
you do what I did, which is
you are smoking hot.
Thank you, I appreciate that, but that's not the truth. So, okay, Val, 40k Jason Show, because this will be a different podcast. So, I just thought, do you want to catch us up? How's your 40k experience been the past week? Been pretty good. Done any 40k in?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's right there.
Oh yeah, baby.
40k.
That's a lot. What's in there? What spice is in there?
Actually, it's not even. That's not even my 40k.
Oh, hold on. We're gonna get a lot of 40k.
Oh
here.
My god! Whoa, we got to put an 18 plus on this.
Oh boy! Get me that 40k. There we go. Oh, even more 40k. That's a lot of 40k, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, that's mine.
And that's Pete's.
That's my Votan.
That's Pete's housewarming gift.
from 9 months ago.
Yeah, man. I know this is a hot new release. I don't know if you guys heard, but Squats came back.
Oh,
Pete,
shit.
This is for you.
Oh, shit. That's exciting, Pete. Are you hot on the Votan train?
No, not anymore. Did you see the preview for Votan by 40K by Warhammer GW? It's fucking garbage. They're gonna be the worst. Oh, it's awful.
Well, okay.
I was okay with it until I saw the Eldar preview, and then I was like, oh, this is just what we're doing now. This is just the Eldar show. So, yeah.
Yeah, so okay, so like to bring everyone up to speed on 40k, because obviously this is where you do come for the hot 40k news. You guys have been waiting with almost no information about 40k other than this show. The spices that obviously a new edition is on the way. And the Games Workshop themselves have been showcasing a bunch of faction focuses. Those faction focuses have kind of given you a quick indication of what the rules in the index is going to be like, because at the launch of 9th edition 40k, all of your previous books will be invalid. Hashtag don't buy books, obviously. A Honest Wargamer staple now. That's pretty much what we say. Don't buy the books. And because you're training them that you want books. Stop it. No. And if you see someone else buying a book, slap a hand, like in this situation. Just stop it.
Get out of here.
Also, I don't think you can buy index books. You have to buy index cards.
What?
Yeah, they're not going to be books. They're going to be like AOS. Like you can buy the decks, for AOS.
Yeah.
And
they're
then
gonna have decks, and I believe the indexes are just going to all be online for this one.
But yeah, you can get PDF. Yeah.
Okay, so PDFs online. But
just for the indexes. Once the actual books come out, you do have to buy those.
Oh no! Don't buy those.
We think.
Don't buy them though.
I mean, I'm just
also haven't seen a fucking word about the app, which is so comical and disconcerting.
No, it's not disconcerting. We knew. You and I talked about this. We knew.
Is it not happening? Please tell me.
They had 30 of the best programmers in the industry working on this app.
Yeah.
More than you would have on a grade A title for like Sony PlayStation.
Yeah.
And now they have had to make contracts with other companies to white label certain stuff in it. So it'll be cool. It'll be great.
This is meant to be like the showstopper. There's been like years of development on this.
I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine. They're white labeling with some really good dudes. So
Okay. That dude, by the way, loves saying the word white label a lot. Love him too. Just FYI, yeah, he's a great guy.
I feel like I brought the term white labeling into the community. I'm just gonna say that. I feel like I said
you
white
did.
labeling
It
a
was
lot.
you.
A lot of people
I think it
asking
was
about
me.
it in the chat. Can you explain it to people, please, and thank you?
White labeling would be when, especially in situations like the internet, where you go to a website and there might be a tool or a service on it that's provided by a third party, but they don't put their name on it. They allow you to write your own name on it. So in finance, you'll see like retirement calculators and shit. It's all the same retirement calculator, it'll just have a different bank's name on it. That's white labeling.
Yeah.
Or like when you go to the grocery store and there's a house brand. That house brand is probably made in the same factory as Coca-Cola, but it's been white labeled and they put their house brand name on it.
Yeah. So they pay them an extra fee to call it Bongo Bongo, and then they just run with it.
Amazing. Okay. Okay, it's pretty wild. Okay, so there is an app. The app is coming. But
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
but it's not even. They've still had to rent someone else to. Oh my god. Okay.
For parts.
Anyway.
I mean, I saw a working version of it 2 years ago. Like a lot of times, that's how long I've been out of the loop for. So like it's been around. It's like there is some cool shit in the pipes. At least there was. That's why the fact that there hasn't been a word peeped about it. I find fascinating. They're just doing so much. Like there's so much that like is coming that they've announced and like they know. There's new epic. There's Horse Heresy epic coming. Like it's just crazy to me. Like I don't know. Like they're really going for it here, guys.
Okay.
Are they?
Well, okay. So we started off with the faction focus, and then Val brought up the app, which is shocking. So there will be an app. So there will be a new app. But okay, all right, good. So, but we haven't heard anything of it yet, which means it's in not yet fit state, which is pretty wild. Yeah, because you would announce that alongside 40k, but anyway, haven't done so. But the faction focuses, Pete, this is where you get to come in. So a bunch of different faction focuses over the past few weeks. How so these again, just to be clear, a faction focuses for the index armies, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, these are for the indexes, with the assumption that most of it will carry over to a codex. So.
Okay, and how are they looking? Like, give me like how does an index focus compare to what we would see from a 40k codex?
Well, I mean, the way they're breaking them down is you're going to get a detachment for each army that gives you special rules, kind of like we would have had with chapter tactics prior. Only now it just covers the whole faction, at least for the index. So
No.
We got it.
East Coast internet. He's gone. Come back. Someone's watching some.
Am I back?
Morning
I think it's...
You're back. You're back. As you started the explanation, we lost you, which is the heartbreak. So hit us again.
So each army is getting like a detachment ability, and then we're seeing a stratagem, and then 2 to 3 units is what we're getting for the preview. The detachment abilities for each army have been pretty okay, I would say, for the most part, until we got to Eldar. Like, they were all very interesting. Some of them obviously a little bit more powerful than the others. And then the Eldar one just seems bananas.
Okay.
Question.
Yes.
Why does Eldar seem bananas?
Well, if you look, like, if you want to compare them, Votan gets +1 to hit, and possibly +1 to wound if units die. So if you kill their units, they get slightly better against the units that killed them, which is okay. It's fine. Eldar get 12 free rerolls for the game.
Okay, seems good.
That's pretty good.
So you roll 12 fate dice at the beginning of the game. You can choose to keep those rolls. If you don't, you roll 11. They showcase the Farseer, which lets you change one of those rolls to a 6.
Okay.
So, like, on average, you're getting 6 to 7 really solid rerolls in your pocket, and that's after you've rolled the dice. You can change those dice. Like, it's miracle dice, worse in that you don't get as many for the entirety of the game, but still like fantastic compared to what everybody else seems to be getting. Like, I was in Twitter talking with some people, and the one mention is like, if Wraith Knights or Avatar are particularly strong, like that, just neither of those things are just going to die that game. Like, even with Oath of Moment up for Space Marines, which the full rerolls against it, like you're getting 6 to 7 saves just automatically with the Fate dice.
We still don't really have any clue though about like how
true.
things are pointed or like
points could play a big factor, but
yeah.
It's a very strong ability. The World Eater's ability also extremely strong. The math on it is very good. I saw some people kind of poo-pooing it, but I don't think they actually realize that the chance of hitting basically anything other than resing Angron is 80 to 90% on that World Eater's ability, the blood dice that they get.
So it's good for them.
Cool.
Oh, it's amazing. Like the ability to get like +2 to move and advance and charge off is insane, and to get both of them with like an 80 to 90% chance, because if you run Berserkers, which you're going to run anyway, like it's real hot.
It's basically the return of Blood Tithe, right?
Yeah.
So let's assume some of us have read the core rules. Let's assume all of us have access to it, but not all of us have read it, which would also be more funny.
100% I've had access for weeks and I have not read them.
The best part, Val, is I know the access you've had is better than the access like the general public got. So, because the general public one is missing like 20 pages. So
it doesn't. I found a page online actually. I just thought I'd share it with you guys.
Is it called Reddit?
No. Hold on. It's the engagement range one.
Oh.
About engagement range, and I don't know. I saw this on a Discord thread, but someone's written "credit your artists" all over it, like in a Ramranch style.
In Ramranchian style.
So it describes engagement range, which seems to be something that I think was missing from the original leak, which is odd, and it's just very weird. Very weird. Wow. So that's available on the screen for people to screenshot. Let's just start there. There you go.
Read book.
Read book.
Hey,
anyway.
Wobbly model. Hey, let's look at Wobbly model. That's always a fun one.
Let's not. Okay. So my question is,
boring.
Pete, exactly. How different do you think that this is between 9th edition? Like, is it a complete game-changing rule set, or is it just like it's a 9.5? How's that sound? Would that be a fair description?
I think it's a little more than a 9.5. Like, I don't think there's definitely some bigger changes. A lot of it, like this simplified but not simple business, you can tell that's what they're trying to accomplish here. Terrain rules have been drastically simplified. They obviously have been trying to get rid of shenanigans that people like. I call them shenanigans, but things that like higher end players would do that would confuse a newer player. Certain fight phase mechanics that you could pull off. They're actively trying to get rid of those by changing the wording on some certain topics. It does. I mean, I know immediately there were some folks in the WTC that I know that were trying to break it, possibly successfully. When it comes to like charges and things, overall, I think it's fine. Like, I think the changes are good. You can no longer you can almost no longer like trap a unit in a vehicle to kill them. You really have to work for it, since you now have a 6-inch bubble police around, which is going to be practically impossible for most armies. But they do still give you a bonus for trying to, in that they now have to desperate breakout. There's no stratagem; they have to do it and lose half their models. Things like that. There's some interesting changes. I don't see anything really wrong with the rules. I think they're going to be fine. They probably have to address monstrous flying monsters that fly and vehicles that fly, because I think they're getting the short end of the stick with a couple things. But other than that, I don't see anything glaring.
Okay, so
I think
go on. Sorry, Val.
I've hammered this a lot, but I think that the number one thing that's going to make this game entirely different is what they've done with strength and toughness. And I think that alone warrants a new edition. I think it's a bigger change. I think their changes to strength and toughness is the biggest change that they have made in 40K.
I do
Probably,
wish
period.
I do wish that they had gotten rid of slow dice rolling. I wish, for the love of God, they had made fast dice like mandatory, except in certain circumstances, and just changed the rules for that. But that's about it.
I wish they had damage carryover. Like,
I
hate that. It's so.
Can you extrapolate a little bit on slow dice rolling and what you mean by that, Pete?
Well, right now, most people, when they play 40K, and they do recommend you do it in the rule book and in the new rule book, if everything you are rolling is the same, strength and toughness, same strength and AP, they recommend you just roll it all at once, right? You just take all your dice. So if you have 50 attacks that hit on 4s, wound on 4s, you just roll them all at once. And if your opponent's making, all the same save, they roll them all at once, and it speeds up the game. The problem comes with rerolls when rerolls are involved, because then you're supposed to slow roll those rolls if you plan on using any rerolls, because you're giving yourself extra information when you do it. So that's really like the main problem and the main gotcha I'll see in like mid-tier games is someone fast dice rolling and then his opponent being like, you can't reroll any of those dice now, and like to use like a CP reroll or anything like that. So
yeah,
it would have been something I would have liked to see them just kind of build the game around to speed the game up. It'd be like, you always fast dice roll except in like X circumstance. So,
or just like how much of an advantage is that really, right? Like how is that a big enough advantage to slow it all down? You know what I mean?
It's a resource. Well, that's what I mean. Like I think you're right in that it isn't as big an advantage, but anyway.
Yeah. So I didn't know that. I just thought you rolled it all and then you would pick one out and re-roll it. That's what I would do. And that's a vibe.
Which is
fine for me, but whatever. Okay, yeah, I wish they'd have got rid of. They do damage carryover, in my personal opinion. I think it creates a whole mess of stuff. I mean, I wish they did away with strength and toughness as well. Also a whole mess of stuff, in my personal opinion. And I also wish that
I really love what they've done with strength and toughness, and I think I legitimately want to chart it when it's all out. I'm going to take the Wikipedia database and just chart essentially how many more units you get in 40K because they've extended the range of toughness.
Yeah,
because if a model's if the definition of a model for the most part revolves around its toughness, which it does, as far as how it interacts with a large portion of the game, you've now more than doubled your variance in toughness possibilities, and that just means to me that there's a doubling in the uniqueness of units that you have. That's cool.
Yeah, I agree. How do you guys feel about the actual miniatures? The releases: Tyranids, Space Marines, the Leviathan box. Pete, you interested or excited?
The Marine stuff does not interest me at all. It's all whatever. I mean, I'll probably buy it anyway, but it doesn't
just give it to me.
It's not. None of it is wow, that looks like an amazing thing that I need. The NIDs, though, I do wish I played NIDs because I love the new NID sculpts. I think they're incredible. I love them all. They're beautiful.
Okay.
That alone, I want them.
But would you be tempted? Have you previously played Tyranids?
I have actually once. Way back in 6th edition, when the 6th edition Tyranids Codex came out, it was absolutely hot garbage. It was one of the worst codexes they had released for that edition, and that edition was broken as fuck. But it wasn't as bad as some people made it out. So I went to a tournament and ran NIDs, just borrow hammered all of them. because there was one very vocal guy in my community that was immediately sold all his nids, and he went on this rampage everywhere about how terrible they were, and they were unplayable. And so I was like, well, I'm going to take him to a tournament just for you. And I came in second place. I had 2 wins and a draw in a little RTT. Yep.
That's exciting.
Because the Flying Hive Tyrant, as always, was broken.
As always.
I just ran a bunch of those.
Val, is you packing up your 40k because you're getting rid of your 40k, or you're consolidating to play voraciously the new 40k?
Oh no, I was doing home improvements in my storage shed, and so they had to come out of the shed. So they've been. I'm kind of nervous. I found some dead squirrels when I emptied my shed. Under the floorboards. I think they might have drowned, but they stunk up the place, and I'm nervous that maybe some of them are living in there somewhere as well. So we'll find out in time.
Like in the kits.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Val's gonna go to
places
some
for
tournament.
a squirrel to just crawl in and die. A lot of foam in there, a lot of very expensive battle foam. But the big cases there, those are the orcs, and then
I'm really excited
one of
for
those
that.
bins. One of those bins is orcs, and then one of those bins is Raptors Space Marines.
Oh, whoa, okay, all right, that's pretty exciting. I unfortunately won't be picking up the new box because I read the missions 40k. Sounds like shit as a game, and there are loads of other games out there to play. So no, thank you.
Is that like they're kind of presenting that as like the launch version of it, I guess? But is that going to be the GT pack? Is that how?
No, the GT pack is separate. They've announced that, so that'll be online, and they're going to update it online. And
what? It won't be a book?
No, GT pack is supposed to be digital.
Wow, that's huge news. That's huge news.
That's the word that they've said a couple times.
That's have they? That's huge news, though. That's super exciting. I always like that. Have they, Pete? Are you sure?
Well, I said it like that because I'm just waiting for it to not be true. But that was the word that they provided, was that the GT packs were going to be digital, and they're going to be updated digitally, like as seasonal things.
Because they didn't keep up with printing them. That's de facto how
not
it's
at all.
So that's excellent.
They didn't keep up with printing them.
No, they did not.
But
no.
didn't they make?
I don't know if it's hard to find General's handbooks, but it's like it was impossible to find any of the semi-annual releases.
Really?
Yeah, the GT packs. If you didn't order them, if you didn't pre-order them, you just didn't get one.
Lol.
There are 6 people that have the Nephilim GT pack.
Oh, I know what they're gonna do. They're gonna do like an EA, aren't they? They're gonna do what's it called? A DRM. What is that thing where you constantly have to be online?
Well, that's what the app would be.
That's what I mean.
They're
gonna they'll have you won't be able to, if you don't have the internet, you won't be able to use your rules. They'll definitely have a DRM app. I don't know if it's called DRM, but it'll be you must always be online and registered to use insert rules and everything else. I think
RM is right. Is it DRM? It's rights management, but what's device rights management? What's the D?
Digital
rights management. Yes. Yay. Ding, 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 ding.
There you go. Yeah, they're going
to... Someone in chat is like, you are all wrong.
Digital.
That is not what it is.
Digital. Yeah, apparently it's digital. Yeah.
Digital.
Oh, amazing. They're going to EA gateway the entire of an analog game system. Absolutely brilliant decision. Hype. That's exciting.
That would be, though.
You know what, Rob?
Yeah.
Rob, let me tell you something. They were not planning on that because no one there knows what you're talking about. They just listened to this and it's happening.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
They made a phone call. They're like, do the DRM. Listen to Rob.
Do the DRM. Get on it.
Do the DRM. They just called some guy in IT. He expects to have to reset their password. He's like, okay, buddy, what'd you forget this time? Okay, let's go through your security question. He's like, I need you to do the DRM. This isn't about the password anymore.
DRM 40K. What?
I remember my son's birthday, but DRM this 40K for me.
Look,
do it.
I, for one, think that if they came up with what would be the equivalent of DRM, which is just the rules available for a subscription price in an app, I would be all over that shit. I would be all over it. I would pay for that. I've said this for years. So like,
And I would
let's do
love it if they found a way that you couldn't screenshot them. Or
Yeah.
take a picture of them. Like they
Yeah, it
worked
turns
out
to
the
black.
technology where it just like confused your camera. So it was just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, man. Like they could, by the way, totally do that. That's like your banking apps, generally speaking, work that way. Like there's lots of things that won't let you take a
Yeah.
screenshot.
I assume
Yep.
90% of the R&D's time was spent on that particular issue, and and what was in it is like everything else. Gangster Paradise makes a good point in the chat. It's going to be hilarious when a room full of 1,000 people at an official Games Workshop event can't hotspot their hotel Wi-Fi to get their rules.
Well, they're already doing it for fucking Wikipedia, so you know.
I mean, you can screenshot Wikipedia though.
True. You could also download a website. Look, I'm just saying, there's a glimmer of hope here, guys, that they could release stuff that is available.
They could DRM the 40K.
They could DRM the 40K.
God damn it! Stop DRMing the 40K. Okay, so
That needs to be a
that would lead
t-shirt.
to a
Stop
world. That is the
DRMing the
world.
40K.
That is the world that you would need to live in order to not have all these stupid fucking books. I'd
No, you
live in
don't
that world.
Unionize DRM.
No. You can have a digital database that does not require you to be to be clear, Val, like because there is a difference. DRM means that you must be online in order to access the information. Like versus like the current app for Age of Sigmar, for instance, I can open it up offline.
Sure.
No, actually, I'm not sure I can. But I can look at the Battle War Scrolls, but actually not 100% certain that's true. Come back to me on that another time. Needing to definitely be on the internet, which will ignore the fact that like obviously this doesn't factor in like a whole bunch of like situations where people aren't near the internet, don't have access to internet, firewalls through different nations like China
First of all,
and everything else. Yeah,
Like-
Scotland.
Scotland.
10 years
exactly.
ago, 10 years ago, I'd say maybe this has some credibility, but like, who doesn't have data on their cell phone that plays Warhammer? Like, nobody.
Loads
Like,
of people around the
literally.
world, big boy. Loads of people.
John
Loads of,
That are playing Warhammer.
Richard Ziegler.
yeah, there's people who play in, like, the other day, there was a guy that came into the venue to play. He's played with my friend Declan. They're playing AC Bar, and I was, like, hanging out, and he was like, oh, Rob, hello, nice to meet you. I was like, hello. And he's like, I'm from Peru. I was like, what the fuck? Peru?
Yeah, a guy from Peru who can fly to the United Kingdom and play Warhammer can also afford a cell phone with a data plan.
But not everything in Peru has got the internet, is what I'm saying.
Dude, check your privilege, bro. Of course they do. Peru is a very advanced civilization. They've got buildings that survive earthquakes and shit. They are very good at stuff.
The Incans lived there. They figured out calendars before we did.
Okay, all right. I feel like I'm in the wrong position here. Thank you for checking my privilege on the
The French
Peruvian
have a
40K.
whole saying about Peru. The French have a whole saying about Peru. Like they just throw it out there.
God, what do they say?
Simple comme Peru.
What does
They
that
say it all
mean?
the time. It means it's simple like Peru. I don't know why they say it like that. I don't know if that's if they're talking down on Peruvian people. I learned it in school.
Are
So
you
I
making
really
shit
hope
up
it
right
wasn't
now?
some kind of racist saying. But that my teacher dropped that on me in grade 8. She's like, "C'est simple comme Peru," and I was like, "Love it."
It's funny to me that East Coast racist folklore kind of proved Rob's point for you. Damn
Wait,
it.
hold on. Okay, let's bring it back. Maybe I fucked up on the Peru thing. I'm willing to admit that. Hashtag Squarebass. But Gangster says, doesn't rural Canada have issues with connectivity? And also, doesn't rural USA have issues with connectivity?
To
Australia?
access a text-based website? No. Like, there's no. Not
Nice.
enough to inconvenience the 99.9% of people who play this game who would have the ability to access the internet. Look, we're also DRM just means that it makes it like you're trying to control your copyrighted material. So DRM could mean that it doesn't have an offline mode, but YouTube for its subscription price has an offline mode. I can download videos from my YouTube. I can't watch those videos on any other app, but I always have to access them in YouTube, the YouTube app. But it just means that like a PDF I can just give away for free to my friends. If it's information I have to use their app to access, that's a form of DRM as well. Doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be online.
I did not expect this to be about DRM this much. I'm gonna move us on.
Rob,
Yeah.
Rob,
Yeah. What?
Yeah, I
I
gotta
don't know
add
if
that
I've
one.
ever
Sorry,
expected any of our shows to be.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure George Costanza of the show, but
Can someone in the chat tell me if "C'est simple comme Peru" is racist? Like, is that because I'm really worried that my grade 8 teacher was racist and I didn't know.
Well, that's sort of like,
And I only just started thinking about it at 40 years old, sitting here in my mother's quilting room trying to podcast. I was like, maybe my grade 8 teacher was a racist.
No, but it's like saying gypped or paddy wagon. Well, you don't realize that those are racist terms until you understand the context. Now,
I always knew those two were racist.
I didn't know about gypped or paddy wagon until like deep into my 30s.
I didn't know about gypped when I was like 5.
Is this a Canadian thing?
What, to say someone was gypped? No, it's a European thing. It was you guys. It's all on you.
I've never heard that in my life.
Definitely the English.
I've never heard that in my life.
You've never heard someone say they were gypped?
No.
Gypsied?
I didn't realize it until I found out that there was a much to my ear harsher version of it for Jewish people. And I heard that to get ripped off in a deal with there's a horrible term to be Jewed. And I was like, what the fuck? And then at that exact moment I was like, wait a minute, gypped is gypsies. Oh no. I had to stop saying gypped.
You people in the street away from you and ran back home.
Yeah. Gotta fucking correct my language. And the fact even a Mickey, I don't know if do you guys have Mickeys of booze over there in England, Rob?
Yeah. Mickeys of booze. What the fuck?
Yeah, Mickey, like as in an Irish person. Like a Mickey is like a I don't know, like a flask of hard liquor.
No.
Yeah. And again, that's another one I didn't put together for years. Paddy wagon. Oh, there's so many of them. There's all these little racist sayings that are all over the place. Idioms.
I have a question because I don't know if because I would help for some help for this. I was thinking about updating my Patreon tiers. And you can put little pictures on the Patreon tiers if you want. Yeah. So the cheapest option, I was thinking maybe just have a caricature of a Jew. Yeah. Would that be racist or not racist?
It's anti-Semitic, which is, I guess, a form of...
okay, anti-Semitic, yeah. What would that be?
Not good.
Not good. Not good.
I feel like we're on the wrong track here.
Who are you referring to?
An incredibly famous podcaster and YouTuber. Huge. And his lowest Patreon tier is that. So...
Chad, who is he talking about? Out this person. That's awful.
His name is I need to remember. He's Australian. Makes a lot of sense. And his name is what is his name? He's like the Andrew.
I'm saying one of my Australian friends' names.
He's like the Andrew, and he's like the Andrew Tate of 40K. I can't his name.
Wes Hammer.
Major Kill. Todd. That's it. I forgot. There you go.
Really, Major Kill.
Yeah.
That's totally predictable.
Oh no. So there you go. Anyway, I just wondered what that was. I'm sure he loves 40K a lot. He's actually one of the biggest 40K YouTubers. Side note, but that's just regardless. I'm trying to move us on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Totally still the case. By the way,
there's 8 of them.
Did you not know? How did no one not know this?
This is tremendously unsquare-bassed.
He makes tremendously unsquare-bassed. He makes $10,000 a month. Just as an FYI. But it's a joke, I'm sure. I don't know what to say. I seem to have stunned you both. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm really looking at...
How is this not public knowledge? How is this not public knowledge?
He makes almost $20,000 a month, Canadian. That's just heartbreaking.
Yeah,
right. So,
I just Googled it, by the way. My 8th grade teacher, 100% racism. 100%.
Again, I mean, that just might be a form of ignorance.
She was a very nice old lady. She used to she was part of a live action play that they run here in Acadie Nouvelle. But yeah, apparently shouldn't be saying that. Dropping that.
So sorry, Pete. Can I tell you a story about my English lit teacher? I went into
Yeah, sure.
into my A levels, got to my English lit teacher. So we're A levels now, so we're a little bit older, a little bit. So this, I don't know if you have A level equivalents, but we have like secondary school. You get your secondary school qualification, then you go into like your pre-higher education 2 years of education called A levels. I did English lit, history, chemistry, and you great combination, by the way, Rob, great work. And English lit, so I went in and he started telling us about poetry, and one of the poets, who I at this point forget, he was describing the story of this man's life, and then he went into intense detail about his STD, because he had oh god, syphilis.
English teachers, man.
Chlamydia.
He had, no,
syphilis.
he had
Everybody
syphilis.
did.
So then I now to this day know that spirochetes, which form at the base of the spine, are what cause this intense level of syphilis, and that eventually rots your brain and turns you crazy. And I was like, and I remember, like, to this day, well, it was a couple of months ago, I was bringing it up, I was in a conversation with someone, and I was like, do you know what? I reckon he wasn't okay. Like, I don't know what wasn't okay that day, but he was a very dour man. Like, he was very sad. And I was like...
It was probably the syphilis.
It was probably the syphilis. Like, he was
going to bring you down.
Intensely interested for like an hour and a half class about telling us, like, we didn't learn about the poetry, we only learned about the syphilis, which I don't know why that was relevant, but there you go. I just wanted to tell you that story. Thanks, Valve Heffelfinger, for resubscribing.
No problem.
Don't know how to bring us back to 40k. Please help me.
Well, I mean,
so I've been doing a little bit of research on the Sample Come Peru. Apparently, she just thought it meant that it was easy to find.
Right.
She thought it meant Peru was very easy to find on a map. Not what it actually was. Now you're supposed to say "c'est simple comme bonjour," which just means it's as easy as hello.
Yeah.
Way less connotations there.
Oh, wait a minute. It's not as simple. It's as easy as finding Peru on a map. That's not racist.
Yeah.
Peru is easy to find on a map.
That's what she thought it was meant to be. Is that not what it was?
Oh, I get you.
Yeah. But it's okay. We got through it.
Do you think the Captain in Terminator armor is French? From the new launch box. Nailed it. Got it back.
He's saying a lot of Tyrannid goop.
He is.
He is. He loves Tyrannid goop. He's just like so into it.
Oh wow. Yeah.
There's a fetish for that. I'm quite sure.
I will say this comment about the launch box. I like how many heroes they have in it. It's like on the Space Marine side, there's a very like usable grouping of heroes. I just don't know if I like the specialist models or that. I think that's the only thing I don't like about it, to be honest with you.
It's just Terminators that I already have, but slightly bigger, which I guess is cool. The Flamer dudes are just intercessors with flamers.
Yep.
Like the
Stern Guard?
The Lieutenant is awesome. I love that guy.
Well, so there's a question in the chat about and a statement around the fact that they've done away with. They're slowly referencing less Primaris. I think this is an old story now. I think it's done and dusted.
Can't be overdone. I haven't heard it. Well, I don't listen to much anymore. But yeah, keep this firm and path. And then, unfortunately, I got to wrap after this, though.
All right, perfect. Effectively, and I'm sure Pete could allude to it more, but they're mentioning less the fact that, because these aren't Primaris Terminators, these are just Terminators. And so, but
and
they
are
Stern
Guard.
Yeah, and Stern Guard are Stern Guard. They're not Primaris Stern Guard. So, and the Infernus guys aren't in like Primaris, they're just Space Marines. So they're effectively maybe retconning their own Primaris thing, and they're just becoming Marines. Is the current conversation, but
from the rules.
Oh, from the rules as well.
Well, it's just like the significance of being a Primaris Marine, I think, is being removed from the rules.
Yes.
But also from the story, I think.
That I don't know.
Well, they are still talking about the Primaris in the story. The Terminator thing they explain lore-wise is that Terminator armor just fits Primaris dudes. So like when the lore is when Primaris are good enough to be in the first company, they just put on Terminator armor and it's the same.
Okay.
And then But the rest of it, like Sterngard being Primaris sized, but not being referred to as Primaris, is interesting to me. And I do think it's mostly from a lore, not a lore, but a unit perspective. I think this is kind of their slow roll into getting rid of the old models by just eventually saying everything that's not a tactical marine is now just this. And if you want to run like the old model, you just got to put it on a slightly bigger base. Right?
Yeah, like
raise it up half an inch or something.
Going back to the original launch of this stuff, like I don't know why they just didn't have like the call storyline, everything exactly the same. They just skipped the whole Rubicon Primaris bit. And I think it would have been like everyone would have been, I don't know, they would have been upset. Everyone was upset about them anyway. I don't know. I think that the fact that like they have to like be physically larger was just dumb. They should have just like let people fucking say the armor was bigger. That would have done the trick. But anyway.
Yeah. Well,
it did lead to some cool books, but I don't think it was necessary. I don't think anybody did. So.
No. Well, listen, it's been a super pleasure talking to both of you. Thanks for being really adjacent today. Wow. And we all learned some things about ourselves.
This was appropriately adjacent. We talked a lot about different stuff.
Yeah. We're here. We're here is the answer. But we did
DRM 40K.
DRM 40K. That's our clarion call. Val, any shout outs for you?
Shout out to bariatric surgery.
Oh yeah, yeah. So
getting my stomach replumbed. So,
are you going to be okay?
I will be even better. This is a life improving thing for me. I had previously had something like this to control my what the doctors charmingly call morbid obesity. And just always a fucking kick in the nuts. Called morbid. It's like, thank you. I could feel the impending doom of my addiction to sugar. Thank you for that. But anyway, so yeah, I had something that I reversed in the summer last year, and I told Pete about it, and he said, "Oh wow, you're gonna gain a lot of weight then." And I was like, "Thanks, Pete." And he was absolutely correct. His forecast was bang on.
As it always is.
Always is. The guy just knows numbers, and I think he's frozen. If I had to guess.
No, I was just like statue mode for you.
But so yeah, so I'm really excited for it. And I'll be off about a week and I'll be back.
I'm really excited for you as well. Like, taking care of yourselves is super valuable, and I appreciate you being able to talk about it on the show, because I'm sure a lot of people out there need to look after themselves a little bit, and it's good to know that we're all human and fallible, because that does happen. So just loads of love from me personally, and I hope you do okay.
Any questions about the process of getting they call it a gastric bypass or a lap band or ACL replacement surgery, knee injuries? Also happy to talk about those levels of health. You can slide into my DMs on Facebook, anything like that. Always happy to lend some help, because everyone's got their struggles, and these are what I've been dealing with.
Well, and I will always talk to you about how to shoot stones out of your penis. If you want to know how to get it done.
Yeah, but people are going to want to know how not to have that happen, Pete. And I think like you're still working on that.
I am still working on that. But I've lived it. I've shot a lot of them now. It's almost like a superpower. Like, they should make an anime about me. And that would just be it. They probably already have, to be honest.
If anyone wants to talk about sleeping well, like, I'm not one of those people that's given up smoking, and it's like, you should stop smoking. I'm that person now. But about sleeping and being diagnosed with sleep apnea, get it done, because it changes your life. Like, life changing. Although weirdly,
it has worked out for you.
Phenomenal. Like, I know I started the show by saying I'm very tired, and I am very tired, but that's because
I think you've probably just taken any gains in like quality of sleep and just reduced total sleep. So
you called it, baby. But anyway, it's been a super pleasure. My love to Val. It's so incredible to see Pete. Thank you, Pete, for being on the show. Chat, I love you to bits. I hope you have a great day. I'll be back again tomorrow. Shout out, and hope everyone is really well, healthy, and see you soon. Good.